us.
Every single day, we are supporting people struggling to live through this pandemic.
Canadians grappling with this second wave, also up against another round of mental distress.
It can be isolating, not seeing family or friends for weeks.
Canada's top mental health organizations is demanding more federal resources to cope with what it's calling an echo pandemic.
At first I was really anxious, and concerned about getting the disease and so on. I have diabetes, so that's a high risk factor. Part of it is rheumatoid arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease, so and you get flu or infections or anything, you can't fight them quite the same way as an ordinary person. I went to Walmart and there was no meat, absolutely no meat, no peanut butter, no toilet paper, all that stuff. And that really hit me like, oh my, this is real, kind of thing. And then the next day I had a telephone appointment with my family doctor. And she said, Marjorie, you're a really high risk person, so you can't go out where there's large groups of people.
Someone like Marjorie and hundreds of other community members that we've heard from are more at risk now of malnutrition than they were 7 or 8 months ago. Because that's what it is. I mean, food insecurity is just another word for malnutrition. Like, we have malnourished people in our community. About 20,000 at the last count, people in Guelph and Wellington are malnourished. Like, that's bizarre.
For this week, I'd like some low-sodium chicken broth, some poppy seed dressing, slivered almonds. The United Way, I think they do so much in the seed program. They came every 2 weeks when they first started, and they gave you 2 or 3 frozen meals, and they were quite good. I think Guelph has had really great volunteers, especially for seniors, to try and help them. And people are going through a lot of stress themselves and have families, and yet they devote some time to that, which I think is pretty special. Certainly took some stress off, and then every person that I dealt with, and I guess especially Colleen and the volunteers, were so wonderful. It was a really great experience. Just the way people who were in charge handled it, like you didn't feel as if, there was a stigma to it.
We're the connector. It's our responsibility to stay engaged on anything new and emerging in the community, and maybe just trying to look at things differently, of new ways that people can work together. Everyone has their own mission, and it's really important, but we're more focused on a collective mission and what we can really do to move the needle on important issues here locally. And then further down, it's about connecting people who want to change the world to people who can. So figuring out how we can really mobilize the people that are really wanting to give back and make a meaningful and effective impact to the organizations and collective strategies to really make change.
Okay, what email did you want me to send it to?
Let's just see here.
All right. Thanks so much, Colleen.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. So first of all, Distress Line and Teleconnect, which you know we offer those services, Teleconnect being the call-out service and Distress Line being the call-in service. We had only had a few volunteers and maybe a couple hundred calls a month. We are now seeing about 1,000 calls a week. That's how much this has escalated.
You know, I know that, you know, lots of organizations that serve people in Wellington County are, you know, talk about the differences between people living in the county and people living in Guelph. Yeah. What is it that you think, you know, what do you see the higher rates of people coming in for help or assistance within the county versus in Guelph?
There's more isolation in the north. You don't have the transportation. The seniors can't get out. They do not have the same amount of resources. They don't have the centers. They don't have the people to be able to come out and see them. It all accumulates together to make a much more dramatic package than, I mean, people in Guelph, it's not that they have any, their situations are just as dire, but it's a different set of circumstances down here, for the most part, than what you're finding in the north. And it is very different in our rural communities. The mental health pandemic is going to continue well past when we have a vaccine and things get back to relative normalcy, whatever that's going to look like.
What I've been seeing is a lot more people from the Black, Indigenous, people of color communities calling me for my services, which tells me that there are very unique needs and challenges associated with being racialized in this community, and that those needs and challenges have been significantly amplified by the COVID pandemic. The outset of the pandemic, there were a lot of really acute issues coming in. Acute anxiety, depression, grief, lost jobs, the real effects of trauma, in which we also need to include racial trauma. There is a lot of stigma around mental health issues anyway, and there appears to be a lot of stigma within BIPOC communities around mental health issues. So what I'm seeing is a lot of people experiencing that as a deterrent to getting the help that they need.
We've always been looking in mental health for a way to take stigma out of the shadows and put it on the front burner. And through the pandemic, that's been the silver lining. The pandemic has required a whole system response. We cannot respond to these extraordinary needs on an individual agency level.
The stigma piece is big and real, and it does affect the way people are utilizing mental health resources.
I just want to say thank you for, you know, for all of the work that you're doing right now, and to all of your staff, and please extend that to them on behalf of us at United Way.
Without United Way, we wouldn't be here.
Well, it's a mutual respect. So thanks, Joanne. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Colleen.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Early on, there was a real focus on food security, and then a lot of people that were isolated. That was something where we really had to act fast. When you think about innovating for the future, that's where I think about how can we be better prepared in other issue areas like that. We're doing what we can in the moment to provide that ease and healing right now. But then down the road, we're really going to look at how we need to shift our funding to really help recover from some of those things that are going to be a little bit tricky to navigate out of.
What was exposed through the pandemic was absolutely unacceptable. We can all expect better because now we've seen the craters, we've seen the cracks.
As individuals, as a community, and as a system, there's a lot of layers for us to work with in the days and years ahead of us as well.
Healthy individuals create healthy communities, and healthy communities nurture and create healthy individuals. And I'm seeing these efforts from organizations at the community level making efforts to reach out to communities and hear them speak their own needs with their own voice.
The cracks were there before, and the cracks have been widened. And when you look at the disproportionate effects on women, the BIPOC community, low-income families, let's get back to those things and see what we can do at a systematic level so that those impacts aren't going to happen in the same way in the future. And I think that that's really exciting to play that role.
Sometimes it's not complicated to help. It's just getting started or knowing what to do. But it all matters, right? We have a big heart in this community. You know, I don't think we're afraid to show it, but let's encourage more people to show it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
All the people who just helped and are helping because they believe in this vision of a community where everyone has enough good food to eat. And I think COVID, as horrible as it is and as it has been, is a doorway to something really special for many people.
We have a lot of really important work to help heal and recover our community next year. And like I said, the campaign is a little bit down from last year. And the last thing we want to do is to have to cut funding to, counseling services or the distress line or any of those things, because actually what we need to be doing is putting more money into it because there's more need and an increased cost to deliver it. So it's really a time for us to ask the community to be united and give what you can so that we can, help our community heal.